I know my calculus.
Wait, no, you were supposed to do that part. No, I mean, like,
I
we
did.
flip it.
He did, right?
I was the one who remembered I knew my calculus.
You plus me equals us.
I know my calculus.
Wait, why are you?
I don't know. I don't know.
Came back. This is not a good song. You guys don't even know the tune.
I hate it. I'm so uncomfortable.
I hate it.
Guys, welcome to Real Awkward, the best damn podcast you've heard today. My name's Andy.
I'm Amanda.
Oh, hi, I'm Ashley.
Oh, my God.
Wow.
I was Googling.
Oh, and we have a special guesties here. Guesties with no testes.
The bestie guestie with no testy.
Bonnie. And guys.
And Clyde over here.
We have Clyde over here. Bonnie and Clyde is Jennifer, otherwise known as J-Dog.
No. J-Lo.
Jennifer. She's been on podcasts before. You're going to hear her in the background because she's not mic'd up.
Andy sis.
Andy sounds like a, what was it? Pac-Man sis.
Pac-Man sis.
Sounds like a venereal disease. I have a Pac-Man sis. Guys, we were terrible at that intro because we were struggling before the episode started to remember some fantastic boy bands. Okay, we're going to talk about that.
Well, okay. We weren't struggling to remember boy bands.
No,
we were
no.
struggling to come up with a song that we hadn't already sang in the intro.
Because I feel like boy bands are part of us, and we have definitely had lots of potamoss. Boy bands are potamoss.
Yeah, sure, dude.
And
Party bus?
Party bus.
All I'm saying is if you were not doing couple skate at the skating rink to one of these songs,
Yes.
then
You
you,
didn't
are
live
either
your life.
too old or too young for this podcast.
That is fair. This is the Goldilocks
And
podcast.
if you do remember these songs because you did couple skate, you probably need a Tylenol for your back.
That's fair. That's fair.
And probably haven't seen a skate in a while.
So we are talking today about boy bands. Now, we are going to go mainstream here. We don't have a list. We are actually going to go off of memory.
Oh, I literally have a list in front of
I
me.
have a list as well.
Okay, never mind.
Oh, thank God.
I'm going to go off of memory.
Andy's memory, go.
Yeah, okay.
How many boy bands can you
Okay,
name? Ready,
all right,
go.
I'm going to try.
Okay.
NSYNC, Backstreet Boys, 98.
We are literally all counting on our fingers.
Yes. Wait, 98 Degrees. Hanson. Does that count as a boy band?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
It was boys.
It was boys in a band. And then we've got Together, which we just talked about, which was MTV's like joke band.
Yes.
Then you have not NSYNC, O-Town, right? And O-Town was like, it was like the band after NSYNC, and he was trying to make them the next.
It was the
a
Make
show,
the Band.
Making the band.
There you go. That's 5. I got 5.
Are we going to quit before we get
Five
to
is
Joe
also
Bros in
another
One
boy
Direction, though? Like,
Wait, does boy band require dance moves? Because Hanson did not dance. They just
No.
played instruments. So
Then
how is
would-
that any different from like Nirvana?
they were
would-
pre-Joe Bro.
Their hair danced.
Well, then would we say that the Jackson 5 is a boy band?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so it was like All for One
Oh,
and
baby, give me one more chance.
Boys to
Michael.
Men.
Boys to Men.
Boys to men.
NBC, BBD.
Boys to men. Yes, I would say the start of... I'm only going to go 5 because you guys are going to remember a lot more of this. But I would say if you were going to talk about contemporary boy bands, which doesn't really make sense because we're going to go back a little bit, Boys to Men and like All for One...
They're in their own.
But that also started it off, right? That was
Yeah.
before NSYNC, before Backstreet Boys, but that was the quartet, right?
It was the original formula.
That's
And then
what I
we're
think
like,
it
what
was.
if we make them younger and hotter and add dance moves?
Yes, this is true. The dancing is what skyrocketed the boy band stuff up. There was also more. There was more bands.
Perms.
Perms?
Well, hold on a second. We have
Only
to go
one
back.
guy had a perm.
Amanda's saying we should go to Jackson
the-
5.
No,
Oh.
no. The original boy band was New Kids on the Block.
Yes,
I'm
yes.
sorry, my
That's where
bad.
we start.
That was that 80 maybe like
I want to say like
82,
85.
83?
It's late 80s, early 90s.
Now, here's you guys. tell me if I'm wrong on this one, but didn't that spawn like a lot of solo acts off of New Kids for a while? Those guys like went different directions and did their own thing. Donnie Wahlberg.
I think for the most part,
Jordan Knight,
a lot of
right?
them have
It
been
wasn't
able to be
until
relevant.
later. Like,
Right.
it wasn't like they went straight from a boy band to everyone split off. It was like they were gone. Nobody knew who they were. And then all of a sudden, like Joey McIntyre, Jordan Knight, they tried at the same time.
They
Right.
ran out of money and decided to try again.
Exactly.
Oh, shit. So this is the first time I remember seeing like magazines flanked with New Kids on the Block.
Teen
like,
Bop.
yes, like I remember
Beat.
I'm like 5 years, I don't even know, I might even be younger than that, but 5 years old. And I just see New Kids stuff everywhere. New Kids pillows, blankets, like
That's what I
mass
remember.
merchandise.
Yeah.
Yes.
Barbie dolls.
I remember my
Yep.
cousins were a little older than me, and I remember we'd go to their house and they would have all the dolls and the whole bed set.
Right.
And I remember thinking like, that's weird because I had like Kermit and Miss Piggy bed set, and
And you walk in and there's the half naked men that
You
are
hit
like
puberty the
pillows.
moment you see that sheet set.
God,
You walk in all wet, huh?
well,
Andy.
ew,
No.
dude, I was like
Oh,
5.
E-O. E-O.
Do you want
Stop.
to take that back?
The white stuff.
Please
Take
stop.
that back to O-Town.
Please stop.
That's fucking gross.
Do you guys edit these?
Andy
No.
edits them. That's the problem.
I'm leaving it all in, baby.
Dude,
I'm
don't.
leaving it
That's what
all
he said.
in. Oh,
Okay,
Stop.
fun. New
Oh.
Kids on the Block.
Oh.
So no, I mean, I remember like, so I was never like crazy into boy bands, but my sisters were. So they would have the Tiger Beat and the Bop magazines, and I would like look at like, ooh, what's Devin Sawa doing at Casper?
I know. I'm like, is Jonathan Taylor Thomas in this
Yes.
one?
My sisters would be super into like Backstreet Boys and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, like New Kids on the Block, I remember them, but like I knew them mostly because my cousins were into them.
I've gotcha.
But
We were a little young for them. To
Yeah.
like really
Yeah,
be
I
true
feel like
fans.
New Kids. It was probably like
if you're
3
40 now, you like New Kids.
that was that's your golden era. Like you
If
were
you're
like
Jared
oh,
Leto, you may have liked.
Should've
no,
been
he
in
was
the
too old
band.
for them.
So let's start. We all are in agreement that really New Kids on the Block probably started that.
Yeah,
Chaos.
and then I think you kind of ride that into the mid '90s when then you have like Backstreet Boys and like NSYNC and shit like that.
Which
They
we
were
already
like the
touched.
revamps for people our age.
Because
Yes.
we touched on the All for One and the
Boys to Men.
Boys to Men.
Yeah.
When was Blackstreet? Was that
late
at,
80s?
Was that beef? That was, and then Backstreet comes out, so they
Yeah.
they piggybacked on that shit, huh?
I'm gonna be honest. Blackstreet is not on my list of '90s boy bands.
Are they not a '90s boy band though, or were they later?
No, I would put them.
well, they
more in,
had
like
No
the,
Diggity, and that was pretty much it.
Like
I
the way you
consider
work
them like
it.
man
No
bands.
Diggity.
Like
Not a
like-
boy band,
No
a man
Diggity.
band?
I don't know.
But
No Diggity was
technically-
1996, so it was kind of all at the same time.
You're right though, but it's like there is something about like teenage boys where they're all like 18, 19, and then when you got like 27-year-olds that are also doing it.
Well,
yeah.
the thing I always liked about the boy bands was there was always the one guy who was like 7 or 8 years older than all the other guys.
Yeah.
the Joey
Looking
and
at
the
you,
Kevin.
AJ.
Well, I was gonna say
Oh,
Backstreet
AJ,
Boys
yeah.
had
AJ.
the older brother looking guy. I don't.
Backstreet was Kevin.
Looking at you, JC.
Was it?
Backstreet? No, Backstreet was Kevin.
Was it? He had the
Kevin-
really dark hair and he always had a goatee.
And yeah, it wasn't
Yeah.
goatee. I thought he had a mustache.
I don't know.
Pretty weird.
But I remember being like, okay, these look like teens, and he looks like not a teen.
no, he's the
He
one.
looks like their chaperone.
yeah.
Yes.
It's the older brother that drops you off at the
Yeah.
movies.
Mom said,
They needed someone who had already hit puberty.
yeah, like mom said that the younger brother couldn't join the band unless the older brother joined the band too.
No, that happened in a lot of them. New Kids on the Block. There's two brothers, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Who is it?
Jordan
Not
Knight
Donnie.
and Jonathan Knight.
Yeah, Jonathan Knight went nowhere. with
Jonathan
his
Knight
life,
does
right?
home reno on HGTV.
Oh, okay, all right. So he did something with his life.
Yeah.
later.
HGTV is like where 90s celebrities go to die.
Because Vanilla,
Vanilla
Ice did his
Ice.
own
He
Reno
does
show
not.
too.
He
Yeah,
does.
uh-huh.
And
No,
didn't
Vanilla
Lance try to
Ice-
buy the Brady Bunch house on HG?
Who did?
Did he?
Lance Bass.
Oh, he did.
An astronaut.
No,
Yeah, he went to
tried
space.
but then some HGTV bought it instead or something.
Okay, so let's move to what we're more familiar with, K through that. So we're really sorry to our listeners that are like, oh, there's so many more bands in the next 6
We're
years.
just done talking about
And
it.
we're like, I'm sorry, we don't really know that until we hit Backstreet Boys are technically the new resurgence, right? That was the first one. Do you guys remember all the members and what was your favorite?
I literally couldn't remember the name of the old one. I don't know who they are.
I think, okay, can I try? Because
I won't be able to tell you if you're correct.
I was
so
not
sure.
a fan,
I
but I
guarantee
think.
you,
Which one are
at
you
least
starting?
one of them you will mix up with NSYNC.
Okay, hold on, hold
That's
on.
my guess.
Okay, here we go. Kevin, Joey.
No, that's
You're already
NSYNC.
incorrect. I know that.
Oh, wait.
And
Wait,
sync.
I meant, why did he's got a, Howie.
Can you add that?
Howie. I was like ponytail.
Ponytail.
Ponytail, because he's the only one with a ponytail.
They all just have names. Old guy, ponytail.
Well,
Babyface.
they follow the
Babyface
same
tattoos.
thing.
and then JC.
No,
That's
I
NSYNC.
mean AJ. God, see, they had the same dumb
Well,
names.
it doesn't. I
Okay,
mean,
wait, hold on.
The one thing I always thought was funny was about boy bands was they all like there was the older one, there was the baby face,
There was the
Babyface.
hot guy.
the hot one.
Yep.
Then there was like the one where you're like, what does he do? There's like the one you forget about.
Yeah, like Chris.
Lance and Nick were the same person,
Yeah.
just in different. They just went to different schools.
Okay, and then I'm so sorry. And then Nick
Yes.
Carter, and
No.
then
Nick Carter? I thought that was Aaron. Oh, I was thinking
no, there's Aaron Carter.
Yeah,
Aaron
okay,
Carter's his
okay.
brother. That's like my
Yeah.
brother's in Backstreet
I
Boys,
dated
and
Hillary Duff.
and then he went downhill
And he's
like
like,
Lindsay,
and I do meth.
like Lindsay Lohan style, like right. I said
I
her
think
name
Lindsay's
right.
coming
Yeah.
out on top.
And then last but not least, Brian.
Brian Luttrell.
And I remember Brian, I was always intrigued because I was like, there's one dude no one ever talks about. And like I felt like Brian was the guy. And then I realized later that
He's the-
mother
he's the
effer
front man.
sings a lot.
Yeah.
In that band. And I didn't realize it. I thought it was all Nick all the time.
He was
if you
the
had
one
that,
that the ladies
if
loved.
you had that haircut,
Well-
there's a meme right now.
Well,
that's
the
like if you-
mushroom.
if
Devin
you-
Sawa.
If you
Devin
had the
Sawa,
mushroom,
Jonathan Taylor Thomas.
Yep, those guys stole your girls.
I think you
back
just
then.
assume that because Justin Timberlake was the front man for NSYNC, and
Yeah.
he's the blonde baby face, and so you assume.
Argue that.
that he was the leader of the band. Okay, so we're still talking about Backstreet Boys. So
He had the better
so
voice.
That was the dudes. Now here's what's crazy, and we're gonna start to compare these, but they all had their own role in the band, right? So you already said Brian was actually the front man of Backstreet Boys, but I think in magazines and music videos they made Nick look like the front man,
Yeah.
right? And then
I mean, Brian wasn't a looker.
I thought Brian wasn't bad. Didn't he have the cleft chin and the like? He looked like
He had a
Batman.
cleft.
I don't think the cleft is
That's
right.
what the ladies go for.
Sorry.
Woo, woo,
You know,
look
he had
at
an
that
issue with his
chin.
soft palate.
Lion from Wizard of Oz.
All our listeners like Andy's an asshole. That's not what I meant. I think I meant butt chin, and I said
This is the episode where you guys really find out who Andy is. Just an asshole.
This episode is really going to split you on how you feel about Andy.
Oh yeah.
And if you have very strong opinions about soft palates, he's not going to be your guy.
we need to sign Andy for the soft palate advocation.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you want to look at his non-butt chin?
Oh wow, he doesn't look anything like that.
He's not as bad
Your
looking as
sexual
I thought,
fantasies
but
have been a lie.
Yo.
Stop!
All right. So, okay. So
I don't have anything to throw at you this time when you
if
get
I'm
annoying.
not mistaken, I don't know music. What they're
You are
called.
correct.
I don't know the music, what they're called, but like you're an alto, a tenor,
soprano,
soprano.
a bass.
So
The falsetto.
so you have to help me. So what was Brian?
He was the falsetto.
Falsetto, which is higher.
Justin. He was the Justin.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
And then Kevin was low. He was bass, right?
Yes,
And
Who was
then
the bass in sync?
Joey.
Yeah.
yeah, you wouldn't think
No,
that.
I'm like, which one was Joey?
I don't know.
Joey's the fat
old one. Got
they
it.
call him the fat one.
Got it.
His
But it
last
was
name is literally Fat One.
But what's confusing is Lance Bass. His last name is Bass.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he was bass. Lance.
No.
He's a tenor.
He was, yeah.
Oh, okay. So then, what was Howie? Was Howie also bass
Probably baritone.
like Kevin?
I don't know. He was the background one.
But Nick was high.
Yeah.
Does anybody know what Howie's last name was?
Long. No.
I have no idea.
I don't think anyone knows.
Howie.
He's just Howie. Howie
You have a name
Duro.
like Howie, do you even need a last name?
Well, and then,
Which
this is
Howie?
where I feel bad. So then, of course, they took this formula where you had your basses and your sopranos and your altos and whatever that is, right? And these guys all came together to harmonize some wonderful music. And then at one point, the same guy that makes Backstreet Boys was like, I can do this again, right? Was it the same guy?
No.
He didn't
Oh,
own
I
both
thought
of
it
them?
was the same guy
It
who
was
kept
the same
making
guy.
all these boy bands.
was
Yeah,
it?
because he went to
NSYNC
court.
and,
They sued his ass for a bunch of stuff, and I forget his
Backstreet
name.
Boys were different
Was his
than
name
Backstreet
Phil or Phil or Tom or Todd or Joe?
But he
or-
was
white
the
guy
same
name?
guy who did making the band for O-Town, right?
Yeah.
Len
Wa-
Goldman?
Goldman?
Lou
Goldman.
Lou Pearlman.
Oh, Lou Pearlman. Ron Perlman's brother.
Pearlman.
So
I don't know, I'm sorry, Len Goodman. Isn't he from that dancing show?
I don't know. So just think about this.
Len
though. This,
Goodman's about to
this
get a lot of
guy,
hate mail.
He's
He was
making,
Simon Cowell before Simon Cowell.
Yes, he's making millions of dollars on these boy bands. He's like, I can do another one and another one, and another one, and he just stuck to formulas for a while. So then you had NSYNC, which was what, only about 3 or 4 years after Backstreet Boys, maybe even tighter, a tighter window. But these
Lines
guys
were drawn.
These guys were younger though, right?
Within a year.
Oh, it was within a year.
For sure.
I feel like Backstreet Boys was on the scene for a while. They were in the streets back then.
Backstreet Boys were formed in 93.
Yeah,
Damn.
see?
Their first album was 96, but NSYNC wasn't until
97?
95.
Oh, so you're
When was
right.
NSYNC's first album released?
The one with the star, the gray.
They must have
90
been
97.
young.
Okay,
They must
so-
have been young when they started doing that, though, right?
Well, I mean, Justin was a Mouseketeer.
That's right. He came from Disney. That's
And
right.
I think a lot of those guys
Were they
on
like failed
NSYNC were-
auditions?
Performers,
Well, I
at
think they were
least.
all like Disney related or had done Disney related projects or like
Well,
something like that.
Yeah. So in sync, you have Justin Timberlake,
Well,
who.
JC was also on
The mouse.
Mouse.
Oh, I
Mickey
missed
Mouse Club,
AJ.
yeah.
We didn't talk about AJ and Backstreet Boys because he
That was
like
my guy.
He was the
There was
bad
the
boy,
alternative. Each one needed an alternative guy.
which was like the bad boy, wasn't it?
With the tattoo.
Who's the
Technically?
alternative guy in NSYNC?
Piercing.
Chris.
Chris.
Oh,
But,
yeah.
but that's
okay.
because he's like a reggae man.
He had like
'Cause he had,
cornrows.
he had dreads.
He's a white reggae man. He's just like, hey, brothers.
I'll be honest, I forget he existed.
The one thing
I think a lot of people did.
And they're like, get out of here.
The one thing I remember about NSYNC versus the Backstreet Boys is I feel like NSYNC had a lot more dance moves.
I think you are right because I think when
Yeah.
Backstreet Boys debuted, they weren't hard on that, and then NSYNC did it. And they're like,
NSYNC had like
they're
choreo.
like, oh crap,
like,
we need to start
full
dancing.
choreo.
Guys.
Backstreet Boys did a lot of like
Backstreet.
Yeah,
Yeah,
arms.
they were doing the Temptations
Yes.
stuff. They were
Yeah.
doing the arms.
Yep,
they
you're
were
right.
doing the rock backs.
You're right, yep,
And then
yep.
Justin Timberlake came out and did a little
And
soft
goes, bye,
shoe
bye,
and
bye,
they
baby.
shit themselves.
Freaking, yeah, dude, top ramen shaking on his head, and
Oh
he's
my
just
god, that hair was
It's
awful.
gonna make me.
like, so.
that meme will never get old.
No, it's fantastic.
It's hilarious every
I
year.
literally, I've stopped doing the meme and I just put a picture of ramen. Like, the square of ramen.
That's gonna
I'm like,
be
you know what
nice.
I'm talking about.
I think a couple years ago I just sent out just the picture of Justin Timberlake. Like, you know.
You know.
Okay, so NSYNC, which is unique. Backstreet Boys, cool name, but NSYNC, it's all their last names, right? Makes up the band name
Not quite.
Where's the
or
T
something
in
like
there?
that. I don't
It does,
remember what it
except
was.
for Justin is the N and not the J.
Oh, okay, got it.
Or
got
something
it.
like that. Or it's like the last letters of their
last
names.
letter
I
of
don't.
their first name?
The last letter of their first names. Yeah.
That just
So,
seems like
Yeah.
too much of a
just
backstory.
Justin,
just be like,
Chris,
it sounded
Joey,
Lance?
That's the one that was weird. Lance. It's the N and not the E. That's what it was.
That's so
They're
dumb.
like your name's now Lan.
Well, okay, we're gonna take the last letter of everybody's first name, but not yours,
Yeah, Lance-
and then see what we can do.
Lance
Because-
Bass is like,
In
"Woo-hoo."
sick just didn't
Yeah.
sound so good.
Welcome to In Sick. Dude, it's like debuting Korn, In Sick, like Limp Bizkit.
coming to the gorge.
I guarantee you they didn't create it that way, and people like little girls who were
Yes.
just writing out their names were like, "Oh, what
I'm
a
like
coincidence!"
a chainsaw. I skin your ass raw. It's sick. Okay, so we've got JT, who I think arguably
JC.
no
JT?
Justin Timberlake.
Timberlake.
Oh,
She's like, get it
Come
right,
on.
bitch.
I'm sorry. okay, Justin.
She's like, he doesn't become JT until after they get divorced.
I'm-
Okay, get out of here.
I'm gonna say the full names just to make sure. So we've got Justin Timberlake, who I think arguably the hottest star to ever come out of boy bands. Correct?
Yes.
You think anybody else trumped him
talent,
out of any?
Michael Jackson.
Okay.
Dude, I'm just messing around.
But the talent and the acting and everything that
Right.
like came from him. Yeah, the producing,
Sure.
the
Right.
direct. Yeah.
Yeah,
It
totally.
must have been one of those things where I don't even know if maybe they knew he was going to be a rock star like that, but everybody saw him and they were like, that guy's going solo no matter what happens to this band. Right?
It's interesting though because going back to their very first album with the ramen noodle hair,
Yeah.
I wouldn't have looked at them and been like, "That's the breakout star."
No, me either.
That guy is
I
gonna
thought,
be around forever.
I didn't understand this stuff at the time, but I thought Lance Bass was going to be the heartthrob because
So
he
did I.
looked more that.
Little did you know.
I didn't know. I had
He's
no
still
idea.
a heartthrob, just to a different audience.
Right.
Fair.
But I think in their first music video, they actually showcase JC more than they do Justin.
Interesting.
Yes, because Jen just said that, or you
Yeah.
said that
He was
more classic, yeah.
JC would argue that he was the front man
Yeah.
of NSYNC, right?
Yeah.
Well, the two of them would sing both like lead parts of
They're
the
both
songs.
they're both
Yeah.
higher octave singers though, right?
Higher octave singers.
I don't know what it's called. Sopranos.
Falsetto.
Oh,
For men.
falsetto. And then meanwhile, Chris is back there doing what?
Falsetto for men.
Do you guys want to smell good?
Can somebody please tell me where the marketing happened? And they're like, Chris, you're looking good. Like nobody would have said
He
that
had an
fucking thing.
edgy-
I'm loving
it
that
probably-
flavor saver on you. Don't change a thing.
And then like braid your hair and put it in a top ponytail. Chicks are gonna dig it. Like there's no way anybody had
Should
Chris
also put
on their
these
wall.
red sunglasses.
You think
Yeah,
you
but
were
it
on
was-
Chris's?
it was-
Did you have Chris on your wall? And you were like, oh man, that guy really gets
you
me
were
going.
Chris?
No, I'm trying to remember. Is Chris the one with the dreads?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
braids.
See,
it was
you
not
forget he
dreads,
existed
was
too.
it?
It was braids.
I
It was
actually did love Chris because he was edgy.
Yes.
Okay.
That was what I was saying. Is
Listen.
they
I know,
needed
Chris,
an edgy
Chris
one.
gave me the vibe like he was the uncle that came to the barbecue.
Yeah, he's the older one.
Skin and he was the closest.
Wait, Chris?
I don't know.
Chris? No, Joey.
Look at this.
Let me see. Are those
my
those like
God.
onion sunglasses that you
Yes,
don't start
dude.
crying? Who?
Dude,
yeah.
seriously,
oh,
it's like,
man.
hey man, can you grow anything on the bottom of your chin? A little bit.
He looks like he's gonna like confront me at the school bake sale for bringing non-gluten free.
So,
I don't understand what they. Okay, so like, who? He must have been somebody's cousin or the older brother that they had to
Oh,
bring.
that's what I'm saying, dude. Now
Mom
he
said
looks
you can't
grumpy.
be famous unless you bring me.
Yeah.
Now he looks like he's an Italian guy on the Food Network.
Yeah,
Let
he
me
does.
see.
He looks like he's going to be a judge on Top Chef.
Maybe he could.
No,
dance. Maybe
he looks
that's
like
how
somebody
he
that is giving an interview in a true crime.
Yep.
Yeah, I knew her boyfriend was bad news, but
So
Then I walked in that
So,
fateful night.
I find this
Maybe
to
he
be
wrote
really
the
funny.
songs.
I find this really to be really funny. So there's a calendar of NSYNC, and I used to laugh at it all the time because they're
Why do
all
you know this?
their
Did you
because,
own it?
because their shirts are off on the beach, and they hide Lance and they hide Chris behind the other three dudes because they had no muscles. Like you can see only the top of their necks.
Lance is looking like the MTV
I think Chris is
calf
behind,
implant guy.
I think Chris is behind Joey's shoulder, like I'm still here too, having
the
fun
Cheshire
on the beach, like because Joey was like thick. Like Joey was like a football
thick
player.
with two C's.
And then AJ thought his shit didn't stink because he still has attitude now. And Justin Timberlake actually ended up being like a pretty
I feel
swell
like
dude.
he might hear this and be like, "What are you talking
He's
about?"
like, oh, did you hear what the Real Awkward podcast said about me?
My sisters were originally into Backstreet Boys, and then it was like literally NSYNC all the time.
Right.
Like-
Like people just jump ship, right?
Yeah.
Like
So if
Yeah.
you guys had to choose,
In sync all the way.
Backstreet.
oh damn! I got to hear the
NSYNC.
arguments. Why?
Hold on.
Okay, Jen says NSYNC. Ash says Backstreet. Amanda says
Hanson.
We'll get there. We'll
Jen
get there.
would change hers to Hanson.
And
if
then-
that was in the
I
running.
stand Zach. I stand Zach.
Truthfully, I really didn't listen to that much Backstreet Boys and NSYNC back in the day.
Yeah.
I was Spice Girls, but like,
Yeah.
I really only knew like one song from each group that I was like, oh, that one's not bad.
Yeah.
But like, I really didn't listen to
I
that.
was in 6th grade, and I was allowed to buy my first CDs, and I got Hanson and Spice Girls, and my sister got NSYNC. So we were covered for a few years.
Yeah, you guys
Yeah.
hit all the marks. I know Jen was more NSYNC than she was Backstreet Boys, and so that's what we listened to in our house.
Backstreet
so
Boys were a little older too. I
yeah,
think.
and
NSYNC was
yeah, so
more-
Jen might have missed the
I just
Backstreet
thought,
Boys a
like,
little bit.
Justin, I thought was hot, obviously.
Justin Timberlake.
I thought Chris was cute. I'm sorry.
You
I
did?
Yes.
And then he flew away with his helicopter hair, and like,
Didn't Eminem make a funny rap about
I
him?
guarantee you he
I
did.
wasn't
I don't
around
know.
that culture, and so I was very intrigued by his hair. and
Okay,
by-
sis, what culture? You think he was a gangster?
I don't know.
Just because he had a braided hair ponytail?
Hey, fashion was
He looked
bizarre in the late
exotic.
90s.
Meanwhile, Howie looks like Desperado. I thought he looked badass, dude. He probably had an Aladdin vest and everything.
His hair's
Chris
still
looked
wet.
like he just came back from vacation to the Bahamas and wants everyone to know.
Yeah,
Like
his
he-
family went to Mexico for summer break. Guys, I got my hair braided. It only cost 50 cents.
I got it. And he was wearing puka shells
the-
too.
Oh,
100%.
Yeah, rocking it. So at that point, we've talked about the Backstreet Boys and NSYNC. They do this whole thing, super popular. They go crazy. They disband and they start their solo careers. What came next? Was there another one that was still riding coattails of boy bands?
Who thought it was fly when girls stopped by for the summer?
But we're skipping over 98 Degrees. That was like the B movie.
Yeah.
No, we're not
of-
skipping them. They were actually
We're coming
good.
next.
well, they were in around the same time
Yeah,
too.
it isn't really a timeline. It's a lot of this.
Interweaving.
I feel
Yeah.
like they were like a Marvel and DC.
Yes, at the same time.
No. It's Marvel, DC, and then whatever
Whatever
happens
98
when
Degrees
when Dark Horse tries
One
to
thing
make
that was
a song.
confusing about 98 Degrees is they also had a Nick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
That was
Nick,
confusing.
But Nick Lachey, wasn't he like a super heartthrob to a lot of girls?
Well, and then he dated Jessica Simpson.
Is-
married.
is-
Married, yeah.
What was it? Is Chicken of the Sea like the chicken?
Is it
of the
chicken?
Sea?
Is it fish?
But I mean, he's actually been able to have a pretty steady career. He's not like super celebrity,
Yeah.
but like he's
Yeah.
been able to stay relevant.
Solid
Yeah.
beat. And his wife is around the same, like
Vanessa.
Vanessa something.
Carlton.
The host of Love Is Blind.
Yeah. Now she's just Vanessa Lachey, so I don't remember her
yeah.
last name.
See,
But
I
she
always
was like
thought
an
98
MTV
Degrees.
yeah.
I
Yeah.
only remember them because their Christmas album was more popular
Oh, it
than
was so
anybody else's,
good.
right?
Really good.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Still
and I
have
feel
that
like they
one as
hit
well.
that, and they still play that shit in Kohl's and the mall and whatever.
In Kohl's, that's exactly-
You know Kohl's.
I
That's
just
a-
buy the Coles album
Yeah.
every year.
Although in 98 Degrees, I thought Jeff was the attractive one.
Who's Jeff?
I didn't really learn the names
Was
of the
Jeff?
98.
Wait, was
no,
Jeff?
he wasn't. No, Jeff was like the buff one.
Was Jeff the one that looked like he was hardcore straight out of prison?
See, there was
I show you.
98 Degrees was they had the older brother
Yeah.
who was not as attractive.
Babe,
I think he was blonde.
I think Jeff was the one that seriously looked
this
like.
guy?
Oh, Jeff.
Oh no! Who's the other guy that like kind of
There's
looks?
Drew.
No, Drew was a heartthrob because he was the
Drew and Nick are
baby
brothers.
of the
Yeah.
group, and Nick Lachey
was
And
the
then
was
there
like,
was the guy with
He was
the
the Donnie.
Yeah.
bleached hair and the mustache.
Yeah,
that's
who's
the
that
that's
guy?
the
I don't remember
that's the
his
Chris of
name.
98 Degrees.
All I'm saying is if you're in a boy band, a mustache is not good for optics.
Yeah, that guy was the uncle.
Yeah, no, that guy straight up was like, "Hey man, we're gonna need you to skip the
I feel like
firefighter
he had
calendar."
a repeat name too.
Like-
Justin. His name was Justin.
So his name was Justin.
Yeah, so that's why he was even more confusing. They had a Justin and a Nick.
And there was only 4 of them, so they were.
There
It was only four.
Yeah.
What did 98 Degrees mean? Like what?
That's your body temperature.
No, I think I read
Right?
something that it was like random. Like
Really?
I don't know. Think I read somewhere.
I thought they're just as hot as your body.
That's stupid.
Give me a 98 degree song right now, Amanda.
I genuinely could not tell you.
I
What
know.
about-
I'm like,
Go, Jen. Nothing.
I
And-
honestly don't think I've ever heard one of their sons.
Ash.
True to
Oh,
your
wait.
heart, you must be true to your heart.
wait, don't they sing that? It's the hardest thing I'll ever
Yes.
have to do.
Oh yeah.
Turn around and walk away, pretend that I don't love you.
Damn, girls.
I the both songs I'm just
Give
like
me just one night.
Oh, yeah.
Una noche or whatever. Una noche.
Una
I
noche.
don't speak
Oh, I
Spanish.
remember, that una noche.
Okay,
that
wait.
you know.
Before we go too far,
like,
you guys
"One
yelled
nacho."
out. Hold on, you guys yelled out Hanson.
Yeah.
And I think we have to talk about it only because Jen's here. And that was, we're not talking like she was just a fan. We're talking diehard crying to see them, crying when she's watching music videos, loving. She knew everything about them. She wanted their behind the scenes movies and VHS tapes and DVDs. And like, I remember you chose your favorite, which was Zach, right? So can you?
Sorry.
Yeah.
Taylor.
Oh, really?
Oh, I was a Zach fan, but I feel like he was the youngest.
Hey,
He was
listen,
closest
guys.
to our
I don't
age.
want to be the one that goes
And
against the
nobody
grain here,
liked
but
Isaac.
Isaac
I
was my
liked
guy.
none
Isaac
of
was
them.
the uncle.
You like the oldest Jonas brother too, don't you?
Just
What's his name again?
Fucking idiot.
Kevin.
You
'Cause
know
I
that.
like him.
You know that.
Because I was confused which one was which one day. I was like, who is Kevin? And they're like, oh, the one no one cares
Did you
about.
watch the roast of the Jonas Brothers?
No.
It was okay.
Okay. So Jen, let's talk about Hanson a
He
little
was
bit
younger.
here, okay?
They were our age.
So
and
I
more-
They were
think
like
a
children.
couple things are incredible about Hanson. The fact that Zach could play drums at like 8. Didn't they start when he was 8 years old or 9 years old?
they all started playing their instruments really young. They were like, I
family
want to say that
band.
they were Christian too.
Oh, probably.
And
Oh, okay.
so
They were
very similar
religious,
to the Jonas Brothers
homeschooled.
formula.
Got it. Okay.
And then
And that was that time frame, right? 95,
Yeah.
96. Hanson hit.
I
92.
I will
Oh,
say
Jesus.
Wait,
that's
when
when
did
they started?
Bop come out?
That was their debut song.
Yes.
yeah.
And they wrote it. So the thing I love
1997.
about Hanson is that they actually wrote all of their own songs.
Like they literally spent the
Everything.
entire
And they were all
time.
age appropriate.
Oh, you know what Bop stands for?
It's a second in time, like a split second.
Oh, okay. I thought differently.
Yeah.
Move on.
I remember they had this really like way low key track that's where did he go? I want to know. Where did Johnny go?
That song's good. That
That
album
was
is
a good
still
song.
good.
That
Where-
song
where
lives
did Johnny
rent
go?
free. He's been lying in your silence. Now tell me, where did Johnny?
I don't know if it was nobody had the long hair in any of those boy bands back then. Those guys were very different, right?
They did.
They
They
got
just
a
held
lot
it
of
back.
crap for it.
What'd you
though.
say?
They held it back. Howie had long hair.
How he always had it in a ponytail.
That's what I'm saying. They
Oh,
held it back.
Chris had his cornrows in a ponytail.
He
Yeah.
held it up.
A cornrony tail.
They very much had a signature look.
It sounds like a mythical creature.
I mean, honestly,
It's like
there
all I can think about is
there was a
bronies
group
right now.
Of us girls in school.
Yeah.
In, what, 6th, 7th, 8th grade? That
Yeah.
we loved them, but there was so much like people giving other people shit that knew, and so we
Right.
had this like secret.
It was a secret Hanson club.
society of loving Hanson. Like we would go to their concerts.
Yeah.
Our walls were covered. With
But you
their
couldn't say
posters.
anything.
Nope, couldn't say anything.
I
to anyone
remember
else.
you-
It's like
You-
Nickelback fans.
I remember
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
First album, banger. Okay, banger. It is really good, and then it got progressively worse from
Look
there,
at
but
this
still.
photograph.
Every time I do, it makes me laugh.
Well, I think that one thing I know I keep mentioning.
Wait.
the age-
I'm sorry. I don't mean to interrupt. That's the problem. Chad Kroger was in Hanson as the fourth brother, and they kicked him out. So he
you know-
started. I'm
They're
gonna
like, you
start my
can't be
own
at our
one.
barbecue anymore, Uncle Chad.
When you get kicked out of Hanson, they cut off your ponytail.
That's what this is. How you remind me was about.
Oh my god.
Do you?
Of who I
I mean,
really
the fact that
am.
They were brothers, so
Yeah.
their harmonies were just so tight. They were
Yeah.
So
They're because their
amazing.
vocal cords were. So
Oh, what I was gonna say
Because
is
of their vocal
there
cords.
just weren't very many.
Yeah.
There weren't very many famous kids back in that day. Like
Oh,
you have
yeah,
the boy
right.
bands coming out, but
You're right.
for people like us, 85, 86, we were like in 4th grade, 5th grade, 6th
Yeah.
grade, and so Hanson was kind of more our speed because those were all like way older than
Yeah,
us.
and they were allowed to be kids. They were goofy. They were silly.
Well, and you were
making
saying that their
silly
songs
faces
weren't
and-
inappropriate, where a lot of the other ones were like love, sex,
Yeah.
like romance, those types of
That
songs.
grown-ups
yeah.
wrote for 'em.
Yeah, where you're like a fourth grader and you're not just there like, oh, I can
Yeah,
feel
they're
this. I
singing
remember
about
my
kids
last
in
relationship.
yearbooks and stuff
yeah,
like that.
yeah. But I remember watching. I don't know if it was the video that Jen had that she played on repeat or whatever. But during a concert, Zach is playing his drums. The mother effer drops a drumstick and picks one up in the same like. dude, it takes years to have that type of freaking prowess, like to literally be a professional like that. And I remember being blown away. I was like, this little kid drums like he's been doing it for 40
and they each
years.
He started when he was 6.
That's
and they
crazy.
each played every instrument as well.
Right,
They
right.
each played guitar as well. And
Right.
I think that was the thing that I liked about them the most, like boy bands, was like they sang and they had silly little dance moves, but they were musicians.
Right.
And I liked that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I remember, I had their posters on my walls, and I had like chapter books.
Yeah.
And like it was a set of 3, and each one was
have them.
I don't. Each one was a different color, and then
Probably their favorite color.
I remember
That's
like
awesome.
Taylor was red, I think, and then that's what I remember because Taylor was my favorite, and they had the color pictures in the middle, but I just remember like I thought it was really cool that they played their own instruments.
Yeah.
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 I will say that I feel like Taylor reminds me of Kurt Cobain's little sister that had to be in the band
I
with
see
him.
that. Isaac looked like a pear with a mop on his head.
Oh, the long hair did not suit him.
It was very interesting.
And it's interesting to see them now as adults.
Do
Yeah,
they
they
look
like normal
the,
haircuts.
Do they
and
look the
stuff.
same?
I want to
Yes.
say they do like HGTV stuff, like house flipping.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, I have no idea.
Everybody does it.
We're recently on, what is that, Masked, the Masked Singer.
They were on
they
the
were?
Masked Singer.
All
Okay.
together.
Yeah.
I feel like
They
that
were
would give
the
it away.
Russian dolls.
All 3 of them are in one
The Russian
costume.
dolls. Yeah.
It's on each other's shoulders. It's a really tall one.
Big trench coat.
It was amazing. Yeah.
I never
One
knew.
adult
I couldn't
ticket,
guess it.
please.
Okay, so after we go through the Hanson, the Backstreet Boys, the NSYNC, I remember, I don't know if it was MTV or it was just like the culture of the world then when they were trying to keep boy bands, but I felt like then they started pigeonholing bands in there that they wanted to be successful because NSYNC was done, Backstreet Boys was done, and then you got stuff like O-Town, which they
I think there was
did the making of the
I think
band.
there was kind of a gap where like boy bands kind of fell off, and then they're like, why do we have no boy bands anymore?
Right. They tried to bring them back, but they were
Yeah.
also fighting against Britney Spears, Christina Aguilera.
It was all about the solo acts.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
That's when
they
did
were
it,
super
isn't it,
popular. Oh, LMFAO?
Yeah.
No,
Or
that's
LFO.
LFO. That's
yes.
I think
Yeah.
it's fly when girls stop by
Yep.
for the summer.
And were those like guys
LFO.
that they look like yuppie kids?
Yeah,
like
they
in
all
the
look like their
neighborhood?
name's Chad or
Yeah.
Chaz.
Yes,
They're just 3 Chads.
but some of that
my mom
stuff,
Bunny's
yeah.
gonna be here to pick us up soon,
So you had the O-Town, the making of the band, trying to hype it all up again, and then it started to get satirical.
Well, first
Right?
you had them doing black groups,
B2K.
like this B2K,
Oh,
That's what
and
I was going to say.
Omarion and stuff like
That's
that.
right.
Because they
That's
needed
right. Representation, too.
Yeah, they
Yep.
wanted to diversify,
Not
and
to
that was
mention,
actually pretty popular.
You have to
Yeah.
think that this is like TRL, like number 1 hits, and like you
Mm-hmm.
had this diversity of a bunch of different stuff coming in. When was Destiny's Child? Is that the same time or is that
Early
later?
2000s.
later, early 2000s.
Okay.
I
So-
think like you had these boy bands hit like mid to late 90s, and then I think it swaps. Then it becomes about girl bands.
Right, where you
Girl,
but,
and with Spice Girls doing the whole girl power.
but Spice Girls was
thing and-
was before that.
No, Spice Girls
wasn't
was
it?
happening in like mid 90s.
Okay.
But like you had just said, Destiny's Child, I think that's when all that kind of shifts. It goes from the boy band, then it becomes girl groups.
Whereas like All Saints and
Well, yeah, so then it was like Destiny's Child, and then there was shit, I don't remember. But like my sisters used to listen to like I feel like because Ashanti got really big kind of right in there.
Sure. Yep.
I'm trying to think of it. It was like another British girl group. And
Another British-
I'm sorry. What I was trying to say was Pussycat Dolls. They are not British. It was like the Pussycat Dolls got really big, and like the group of girls, it was like bye boy bands. Like
Yeah, pushed out, and you're right. It did almost go like full female groups at that
Well,
point.
and they did making the bands for girl groups too.
Yes.
Yeah. So did boy bands then after the O-Town thing and the Together, which we made fun of early in the episode, where they were kind of doing satire now of boy bands? Did it just die?
Yeah,
Or was there
And then you get into the reunion stuff where they're like getting back together for certain things, and then people
Right.
are like, ah.
But there was a resurgence
Yeah.
because then we had Oh my God, it's happening right now. No, it actually started like
K-pop.
8 years. No.
Well, so
I'm talking
then
about
there was like
Harry
Andy's like, no,
Styles.
stop.
Jonas Brothers.
One Direction.
Thank you.
Direction.
So-
One Direction, I feel like started the resurgence of
Yeah,
boy
we have
bands.
One Direction.
Yeah.
Now you have BTS, but like
Yeah.
honestly, none of that is my style.
Yeah.
So it's hitting teenagers now.
One Direction was also put together,
By
Simon
him?
Cowell.
but I think it was in UK.
Oh, okay.
It was like a America's Got Talent type thing, and they all auditioned separately.
Oh,
and they didn't make
and then
it.
they put
and
them
so
together.
he
Put 'em
them
together.
in a group and had them all try out, and then boom.
That's crazy.
Interesting.
Because you would think that type of stuff wasn't popular anymore, and for you to have a group like that again,
Everything does
it
It's all cyclical,
it
dude.
comes back around.
Yeah.
And then and you did talk about BTS, which it's crazy. Over the last, I feel like 5 years, maybe 10 years, the K-pop stuff bleeds over here now, where it
Yeah.
didn't used to.
There's a huge in Las Vegas. There's a huge following for K-pop.
Of K-pop.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's funny because we don't get Japanese artists very often, but Korean, oh my God, forget about it. Who was the guy that did the Oppa Gangnam Style?
Psy.
Was that Korean or no?
No.
I have no idea.
What
Yeah,
was he?
he was
Taiwan?
Korean.
Oh, Korean, yeah.
Yeah.
He was Korean, right? So that's K-pop again, like in various forms. So
But they bring back the dance
where something gets
thing.
popular.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that.
About K-pop,
Yeah, K-pop.
the boy bands, and
One thing that's
Yeah,
hard
that's
for me
fair.
listening to K-pop is the disconnect, because they do a really good job of singing English words and not having an accent, and they
Right.
sound. But then like they're in these interviews and they don't speak English
'Cause they don't
And
know what
so
they
it's
sang
hard
about in
because
the
like,
song.
they don't have that like passion in the song and stuff
Right.
because they're just singing words, and
So
it doesn't make.
I have to say too, like as we talked about Backstreet Boys and NSYNC and how they all had different like personas.
Yeah,
BTS, I can't tell one from another.
it's all the same people.
we can't.
Well, no, but they all wear the same thing. They all have a similar hairstyle.
Right.
Like
Right.
it's very uniform. So I don't know if that's a Korean like
Culture
Yes.
thing.
culture thing.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But
Well, a
but
lot
I
of them wear
guarantee you.
school uniforms too, and I think a lot of that bleeds into the teen culture.
I guarantee you, if you're a fan, though, you would know each one individually.
Oh, I
And
guarantee.
they probably all have their own, like, I don't know their names. at all.
Personalities.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know
One
that.
really likes broccoli.
I know that-
I don't know.
Wow.
All I know about BTS is like a handful of my clients love them, but I have done a handful of haircuts that look like their haircut. Like people will bring me
Isn't that
their
the bowl
picture.
cut back again?
It's a bowl cut.
Yeah.
People will bring me their picture and be like, I want to look like this guy, and it'll be like BTS. And so I mean, it's quite literally I do like the Devin Sawa, Nick Carter haircut.
I feel like there's only like
Which
two
is so
haircuts
crazy
right now.
because Koreans' hair is so different from white people's
Oh,
hair.
100%.
A white person coming in and being like, "I want this BTS haircut," you're like,
It's
"You have
not
no
good.
body."
Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
it's
and,
not
like,
gonna look
There are
good.
multiple people. I'm like, your hair can't do this.
Yeah.
Like
right. The
even
thickness.
even like not a lot of white people can pull that haircut off. Like
Yeah, it's too fine.
our hair doesn't have the same amount of weight to hold that shape. And
I love it. If it's
It's
not
just-
BTS, then it's Patrick Mahomes. Those are the two hairstyles people have right now.
well, and it's funny because sometimes I'll say to people, they'll show me like that haircut, like
Yeah.
the BTS or whatever. I'll be like, yeah, like the Devin Sawa, Nick Carter, like 90s
They
thing.
don't
And
know
then
what you're
literally
talking
they're
about.
like, I don't know who that is. And I'm just like, okay.
if you
got
had a
it.
JT poster, it's time for a cold cream.
Oh,
JT.
100%.
I think people need to go back to the perm. Rock that.
What's
perm.
happening now is
That's Patrick
I do a
Mahomes.
mullet.
Yeah.
And then
a
they want to
perm.
perm it.
Uh,
Or we shave the sides and the back and they want to perm the top. Ridiculous.
It's ridiculous.
Well, it might look okay right at first because it's like curly on top, but then like you give it a month and a half and that's grown out about an inch, and it's like weird and straight, and then like
then go
curly on
back
the
to
ends.
curly.
Well, and then
Back to boy
the
band.
age of people that want it is these 12, 13, 14-year-old boys who are not
Gonna
well
take-
known for their hygiene.
They're not going to take care of their perm that smells
Yeah.
like an egg fart for 5 days.
Gross, dude.
It's gross.
Ash and Amanda, or you guys had some boy bands pulled up. Was there anybody we didn't talk about that was pretty significant?
In full disclosure, I didn't even recognize half of the names,
Oh, okay.
so I'm not the one to ask.
All right, what do you got?
I liked BB Mac.
Oh, we did talk about BB Mac,
Yeah.
but I don't remember any of their songs.
No, I don't either.
Back here, that's all I know.
Yeah, the one
Back
we
here?
sang before we started.
Yeah,
doing
the
all
one
this.
I was like at the beginning of the music video,
Oh.
they said, "Let's do Back Here."
Right. Right.
but I don't remember how it goes.
Okay. That's okay.
There were a lot that had just like
Oh,
they were
one
one-hit
and done-
wonders. Yeah, like
'Cause they
there's
were
a few
trying
from
to
the
catch
list,
fire.
like Westlife. I remember the name.
Oh,
I don't remember the songs.
Westlife.
Well, music was kind of different back then too because they were selling CDs.
Yeah.
They would have like one hit song.
Well,
and
you'd
then
get-
you're
you buy a
supposed to-
single.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and now everyone just makes singles after singles, and then they
Right.
have a few that they throw in there that you don't know.
They're
But
deep
back then it
cuts,
was
yeah.
like you bought an entire CD for Backstreet's Back.
Yeah.
Dude, there was one. I don't remember how old I was, but it was a song called Jasmine. And it was like, Jasmine, you're my favorite girl. You're my
I
favorite
remember that
girl in the
song.
whole wide world.
I don't remember that at all.
I used
I'm
to watch
so
the
sorry.
music video all the time. I don't even remember the band name.
Yeah. No,
I just
it's the
thought-
same. There used to be. I'm sorry. There used to be a song I remember. My sisters and I sing like Cleopatra coming at ya.
Well, it's called Cleopatra.
Yeah, but like it's the
Those
same idea,
girls,
right?
yeah.
Like where I'm just like, I just remember the clip.
Yeah.
I feel like we're
There's
mi-
this band called Five. I remember
Oh,
how.
I remember Five.
I do remember Five.
But do you remember their songs?
Nope.
No.
I
See,
had their
I
CD
remember
too.
being
You could probably
Yeah.
play me, I don't know, 20 NSYNC songs, and I probably know I've heard them all once before.
This Is At 5 was
But-
put together by Simon Cowell.
Oh.
I just thought of a new NSYNC one that we haven't seen yet.
What?
Here we go. Here we go. One more time.
Oh.
Everybody's feeling fine. No? Here
No, we got it.
NSYNC says, here we go.
I just remember them being really ingenuitive because they did the no strings attached where they all looked like dolls and like
That was cool.
it was cool.
Do you remember when those you could buy the dolls and they were like everywhere?
Marionettes. What are you showing us, Ash?
I was going to say,
And
let
the
me just
boxes
list
looked
some.
like the music
Who?
video.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Let me just list them and see
Yep.
if you remember them. Take That. Don't- I
Stop
think
that.
they were they
Stop
were
that.
from the UK.
I don't really give up about trying to stop that. Top that.
Teen Witch.
All right.
Yes.
Boyzone.
That sounds.
Welcome to my boys.
Dream Street.
I do remember Dream Street. I don't remember their songs.
Soul Decision.
Yes, that's right.
Faded was their single. You'd
got
probably
nothing.
recognize it if you heard it.
Yeah.
Savage Garden's on the list.
How are they a boy band? There's only two of
There
them.
was two boys. Two boys. They were banned.
Actually,
I
recently
will
met a guy
take you
that said
to
that
the
was
moon and back if you be.
Obsessed, you said?
If you
In Savage
be
Garden.
my
Played for
baby.
them. Yeah. His name's Ben. Shout out Ben. What's up?
East 17.
It's my favorite.
Belle
British?
Biv DeVoe.
Oh, Belle
That
Biv
girl
DeVoe.
is poison.
That was OG though.
Mm-hmm.
Like that was like early 90s, like 90 or
I think it was
80s.
80s almost.
Oh shit, okay, 80s. But weren't they getting banned because they were humping the stage or something like that? I thought
don't
they
know.
were the first one. Everyone was like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa!"
I will say, dude, the beat to that song is so
it is good. It is good.
Poison came out in 1990.
Okay.
So, High Five.
That's just like 5. Just
Yeah.
one's better.
LMNT.
No, Element-T.
Savage Garden.
I don't know.
Savage Garden. I mean, it
Honorable
felt very.
mention.
Yeah, that's fair.
Honorable
That's fair. Yep.
That's
They'll
all I
be
have.
your wish, they'll be your dream, they'll be your fantasy. Come on.
Like a Chicka Cherry Cola.
Jasmine, the song I was singing, was
Yeah.
by a band called Youth Asylum.
Youth Asylum.
They were young kids.
That sounds creepy.
just like
They were
soul
really young.
decision.
Okay, what else you got?
I said that was it.
Oh, snap. Okay. Well, I do think it's funny because we probably could have also done an episode on girl bands. And it might have been like,
Still can.
Girl groups.
Let's do an episode on girl bands.
let's do girl bands. Hey, listen to listeners, our rubes. If
Hey,
you
listen
want
to
to, if you want us to do girl bands, or
if you don't want us to do girl bands.
please say, let's get a poll going.
No.
Oh, God.
We're going to do it whether you want it or not.
Yeah,
You're
it's-
gonna get
it'll
girl
happen.
bands. Amanda, if people want to tell us how much they hated the podcast, can you please? Where do they do that
So
at?
Andy's personal email is so check out our Instagram at Raw Like a Podcast. You can go send us some hate mail over there. Or if you really want to support how much you hate us, head over to our Patreon. It's patreon.com/@Real Awkward Podcast. Become a Real Awkward Rube for $3 a month, and maybe some cool stuff will happen to your life. And then that's all I have.
Excellent. Lead us out with a cut from our latest hit.
Oh boy. Everybody,
Yeah.
rock your body, yeah. Everybody,
Rock your body right.
Backstreet's back. All right.
Bye.
Okay, bye.
Bye bye.